Hello and welcome to the Black Moon Ceremony fundraiser for Mira. Thank you, Michelle, for being here with me today. I'm so happy to see you, and I appreciate everyone who's watching the replay or however you're seeing this right now. But today we're going to be talking about the Black Moon, which is going to be Sunday, or not Sunday, Saturday, at I think it was 2:06 or 2:07 a.m. is when it's going to peak in Virgo, and that's AM Eastern time. So basically, this moon is kind of leading us into eclipse season. Tomorrow, from where I'm recording this, will be Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. So that, when we do the math, it adds up to a master number of 22. And that's very important because we're going to be able to utilize that energy to really build onto the manifestations that we've been focusing on. But a lot of times in eclipse seasons, you don't want to focus on manifesting. It's more about allowing things to unfold. So I think that's a great thing for us to be able to do, because if you keep constantly putting your order out to the universe and you're like, okay, it hasn't come yet, I'm going to send it out again. If you did that at a restaurant, the cooks probably spit in your food, or or you'd end up with a bunch of plates that you didn't really want. You just wanted one of them, right? So we get to trust the universe. We get to trust the unfolding. We get to trust that God is going to show up for us in the way that we need. Because sometimes the way that we need isn't always the way that we want or that we think that we want. And even sometimes when we get what we want, we're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Take it back. So today we get to just really think about and sit with the things that we are manifesting, the things that we're wanting to co-create with the creator. Because you can just kind of be one of those people who is just kind of sedentary. They're living their life like Groundhog's Day. Every day they wake up in this same thing over and over again. And after a while, I think we all get really sick of that. And I think it's probably a big reason why there's a lot of anxiety and depression nowadays, because everyone has kind of been taken out of doing what they're passionate about, what they're good
Yes,
at, and kind of being thrown into it. It almost feels like it is normalized to work towards someone else's dream, right?
yes,
So, like, if you work for Walmart, you're working towards someone else's dream. If you work for Amazon, chances are you're working for someone else's dream. Someone else's dream, Jeff Bezos, right? Like, you're giving all your energy, you're getting a kickback, and you get to be in there, and there's, you know, a sense of stability in that. But it really kills your passion for life.
yes,
And even if that is funding how you're surviving right now, I would really encourage you to find things that you are passionate about that you can maybe do as like a side thing or in your spare time or on the weekends, because none of us has to be stuck there. And chances are, if you have a bigger, once you realize that you have something bigger that you need to do, usually there's a shakeup in your life.
mhm,
Usually there's something that pulls you out of it. And sometimes you're allowed to do both until you realize that it's not manageable to do both. But at this time, we get to really just trust that the creator has our best interests at heart and that he's going to provide the things that are coming. So during this time, I really want to encourage you guys just to listen to what those um, breadcrumbs are that we're getting from the creator, from the universe, that are saying, hey, this is an opportunity. I really think that you should take advantage of it. because once we start taking advantage of those opportunities, we start to see more doors opening for us. And sometimes we can get overwhelmed and we can say, oh, I've just had a lot going on right now. It's just too much. And obviously, it's good to honor your needs and your mentality, but
Mhm.
don't get caught in a trap of thinking that you need to stay there or that you've stayed there so long that now it doesn't make sense to do it. Or you get what I'm saying? Like there's a balance in that.
Yes. Mhm.
And I think, sometimes people are like, I don't even know where to start. And that can also hold us back from making any moves at all. Because if we feel like we need to have all of the answers, we have to know that it's gonna work 100%, then that doesn't really give us any room to grow. If we
Mhm.
knew exactly how it was gonna go, how it was gonna turn out, then you'd already be at the end of the race, right? So there's fun in the unfolding, there's learning, there's growth. And sometimes those growth they can feel like growing pains, right?
Yes.
But I think as long as you are making an effort, God is going to make a way. And it doesn't have to make sense right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you are putting it out there and letting it grow and develop as you go along, like say you don't know how much to charge for a service that you want to provide for the collective. Put a price out there. If you don't get any hits, maybe bring it down, bring it up, play with it. Figure out what works for you. Ask your audience. Ask other people that are in your niche that might be able to say what worked for them. What worked for them might not work for you, but at least you have an idea. You're playing with it, you're engaging with it, but don't allow it to hold you back because there are a lot of us who have things, we have gifts that we are able to give the collective. And I really feel like a lot of our spirit guides are knocking really hard right now. They're like, okay, it's go time, guys. I know you were comfortable. It's time to go now. And we're like, what do you mean? I'm still in my pajamas. So, and when you actually do go out there and you put yourself out there and you see that it's making a difference in other people's lives and you see the impact that it has, not because of you, but because you've allowed yourself to be a tool for the creator to work through. And that is such a beautiful thing because then people get to see God in you, right? And how powerful is that? Because it's so much easier to say, there's this omnipotent being that's somewhere high up in the sky that nobody's ever seen, right? But when we get to show other people God from within us, then it's more tangible. And people get to say, okay, well, maybe there is something to this. And that allows them to activate their own connection with spirit. And I believe that if you're alive right now, you have breath in your body, you can see me, you have universal life force energy from the creator in your body right now. God is in your body right now, whether you admit it or believe it or don't believe it, he's there. And he works in all of us. Just some of us are more aware of it. And that's where that knocking on the door of your heart comes in because Jesus is like, hey, I'm here. But some of us feel so energetically like a such a distance from it that also causes anxiety and depression when we don't realize that we're one with all of the beautiful things in our world, or if you are choosing to see everything in our world as bad, and then you realize that you're part of all of it, that's another thing too, right? That was one of the biggest things I think when I first had my awakening of really stepping into, okay, because I've always believed in God and I've always had a connection with God. But there was a point where I felt like God was more so, the majority of him was outside of myself, and that I had to consciously go to him in prayer and ask when he was telling me things and he was, there with me and guiding me the whole time. But when I really started to realize that he's inside of me, whether I like it or not, it kind of changed things for me a bit, right? But you also start to see all of the ugly, horrible, corrupt things that we see going on in society and other parts of the world, really violent things, very um things that you don't ever wish on your worst enemy are happening in this world. And we realize that there really is a duality. And once we can become okay with the duality and realize that it might play a part in the bigger scheme of things, right? Because sometimes I don't want to say that it's necessary, but at a point, these are things that we're healing on a collective scale. So even though I'm far detached from what's happening in the Middle East, say, right? I still feel for those people that are dealing with those things. But I also know that if that wasn't happening, we wouldn't be able to see the corruption. And the corruption is the stuff that's being swept under the rug. And I really do believe that I'm bringing this up right now because now is a time to clean up all of that junk underneath the rug, you know? So, whatever that junk is for you, now is that time to focus on that. Now, what you're trying to call in, make space for it, right? It, go through your clothes, see if there's anything that you can donate. Go through your pantry, get rid of things that are expired, get rid of things that you don't want. You can donate them to a church or a food pantry. You can donate them to someone that you know that may be able to use it, because that's how we're going to make space for the things that are coming in for us. So it's very important for us to honor our limits as human beings and our energetic stance. And I'm not saying stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and, clean everything out. Hi, Ashley. How are you doing today? It's good to see you.
I don't have my veneers in, so I'm not going to talk with my face. Hopefully, you can't see my face talking.
Oh, you're fine. You're so great. And look at how beautiful you are.
I'm like, oh, I don't have teeth in. And here, you can see.
Aw,
That's what
I
I look
love
like.
it. Aw, I love it. You are so beautiful.
Thank you.
Inside and out. Yes, and I was just talking a little bit about the new moon and how this time we're going to be doing more of cleaning underneath everything that's been swept under the rug to kind of make room for the manifestations that are coming in for us. So, I don't know if you guys have been thinking about your manifestations of, things that you've been wanting to call in. At this time, I just kind of want you to think about if those things are still aligned with you.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Because those things are going to be what we're going to be calling in. And if you haven't been calling anything in, if you're, watching the replay and you're like, oh, I haven't made any intentions, I haven't done any manifestations, then you've probably been doing it unconsciously.
Mm.
And so this is kind of how I see it. This is the best way that I can explain it. I believe that God created the heavens and our, what we consider heavenly rulers, right, in the second heaven, which would be like the planets and stuff. And that's why you know, these are also considered angels in some texts, but basically they were put in place to keep us under some kind of jurisdiction within our free will, because we all have free will. And
Yes.
obviously, there are a lot of people who can be very maniacal within their free will, as I was just talking to Michelle about. So basically, if you're not consciously co-creating with the creator, there is a potential that you're being guided and judged by these heavenly rulers, right? They're keeping you in check within your free will because you're not really like consciously using it, right? So if you're consciously using it with a creator, you have this connection with a creator, you can hear your guidance. And sometimes even when we don't hear, or when we do hear the guidance and we make mistakes, they still come in and kind of do like last minute saves for us and things like that. And a lot of the times those things look very chaotic. It looks like your world is falling apart, but really it's just a redirection. But if you're one of those people who is not consciously manifesting, you're probably unconsciously manifesting. And that can be a little dangerous because I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but like, think about, I'm going to do an analogy of nature, right? If you were to go out into the middle of the woods, right? And you're like, okay, I don't have a house, I don't have a car, I don't have anything. It's just me and nature, right? And then a storm comes and you go, oh crap, this sucks. I'm soaked, right? How am I going to sleep? I'm just being rained on and I'm cold. Eventually you learn how to make a fire. And then you might find a cave because you're like, okay, I got to find something to protect me from the elements, right? So this is what happens when we don't consciously co-create with the creator. Sometimes we have to learn through these storms how to protect and provide for ourselves within this physical reality. But at this time, we're just going to be kind of focusing on our manifestation, seeing if they're still aligned with us before we head into eclipse season, because eclipse season is not the time to be manifesting. It's the time to be allowing the unfolding. It's the time to be making the space for the things to come in. It's the time to be really looking at everything in your life that's within your own power, within your own scope of energy, to say, what can I do to facilitate this? If this opportunity is being presented to me, am I, going to be able to align with that? One second. When does eclipse season start and end? So we're kind of going into the beginning of it right now, Victoria. This is kind of like where we're going to be starting. And then we're going to have a solar eclipse on September 21st, which is very, very close to the fall equinox, which I think that is also another thing to be mentioned because, some people say it's going to be on the 22nd, but like from the text that I've read, that is usually on the 21st. But that's just kind of like semantics, right? 21st, 22nd, who really cares? We're pretty much at fall, right? But we're gonna have a solar eclipse that day, and that kind of ends this circuit because this new moon, the black moon that we have tonight at 2 a.m., 2:06, 2:07 a.m., that is a new moon in Virgo. So when we get to the solar eclipse, that is also in Virgo. And I think that's also something to be said, that it's probably not very common for that to happen. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which means that they're great communicators. But Virgos are also known to be very big perfectionists.
Yes, they are. My mom's a Virgo, well, was a Virgo, and my daughter's a Virgo. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I was warning you guys about the perfectionism, because there is that kind of energy that could stifle you in this energy. And I want to warn you guys about that, because sometimes making imperfect action is so much more productive. It gets the flow moving, and sometimes just putting one step forward and learning from your mistakes is so much more important than it being perfect. Because we all have gifts that and things that we came here to do, and when we can do that, it's just so much better. So I just kind of wanted to have you guys take a minute to think about the manifestations that you're calling in. And is there anybody who would like to share or discuss those with us? You're welcome to come on now if you want to kind of talk about them. So, like, for me and my manifestations, I would like to really get onto the school platform. I moved the Oracle program to school. And my manifestation that I feel called to do is to bring the Oracle program to a wider audience so that, I can continue doing that work, because I really enjoy doing that with you guys. And I really think that being a part of school is going to help with that, because when I do start charging for those kinds of things, they already have a payment method set up, and it's going to be a lot easier. They send emails out for me, things like that. So that takes out away a lot of the headache. And, I really would like to get to a point where, I don't have to feed into someone else's dreams of, their business, and really kind of focus more on my own business and doing the things that I'm called to do. Because at some point, I would like to have a physical location where I could have a nature retreat and people can come and they can learn how to connect with nature, and we can do these kinds of ceremonies in person. We can have drum circles, we can have bonfires, we can, do different kinds of healings. I'd like to facilitate, healing sessions for, with maybe multiple different healers that could come and, you know, do that kind of thing there. I think that would be wonderful. And that's the kind of work that I want to do. That's the life that I want to live. I want to live the life where I'm seeing breakthrough after breakthrough every day. And it gives me a reason to get up and want to go. And I want to get to a point where my body is able to facilitate that for you guys. And that's why it's so important for me to do my own healing on my physical body, because I've done a lot of inner work, but my body is like, okay, time to focus on me now. So, is there anyone else that'd like to come up and share their manifestations for today? No? Okay.
Mine is always financial freedom. Like that's like where I'm like very much feeling into that of like, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but hey, I'm open for it. And so I paid my dad gave me money for my birthday, and I was able to pay off the debt that I have been accruing like with my boyfriend, like just while he like after I sorry, my dog's like attacking me. After I got fired like 3 years ago, like however long ago it was, like 2022, like it's been probably 2.5 years where
Yeah.
I've just been like, if I don't have enough money, he's been covering it. And so just it adds up. But like I've paid it off, and like I have it paid off now. So that's huge.
Yay. Congratulations, Ashley. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. And so I'm bringing that financial freedom and of having all of debts free and clear, all that stuff. So I'm just working on that and I'm calling that in.
That's awesome.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
mean, that's a big thing because, debt can really feel very stifling for us.
Oh, yes.
And you've made so much progress and you're just gonna keep doing better and better. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. That means the world to me. I love you so much. I was like, I think she's talking to me. I think I need to speak. Here you go,
Yeah.
Ashley. Tell the world. So thank you. And I put my veneers in.
Yes. Oh, well, you're so beautiful.
I did that for your audience.
Okay.
Just joking. I
Fine.
love you.
Yes, I love you too. So, is there anyone else that'd like to share their manifestations that they've been focusing on over the past few months? No? Okay.
I guess I'll
Okay.
share because I haven't shared in a long time.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
dinner
You were
time with my
breaking up
family
a
right
little
now,
bit.
so it's kind of like if you hear. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good. I live in the country, so my reception's not that great. So that's why sometimes I struggle with coming to the Zooms because I get disconnected all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me
Well,
see if
I'm
I
glad
can.
you made it.
Yeah, we're having a heat wave right now. It's like 105 degrees, and so we're sweating bullets. And the only part of my house that has like air conditioning actively blowing is where my bed is.
Oh.
So I'm like sweating bullets. But
Mhm.
so I started a project like a year or two ago. I don't even remember. But it first started when I was pregnant with my son. And it was making video ASMR videos.
Oh, nice.
And like I know right now I'm kind of squeaky and being goofy with you guys, but when I am in my ASMR zone, I it's something that's very soothing to me and it's almost like medicine.
Yeah.
So it's something I want to get back to doing, but not specifically ASMR, but doing bedtime stories. So I actually
Okay.
did, yeah. So it's a project that I've been kind of like reconnecting with because a lot has happened since I've done videos. And basically, the video is me reading a bedtime story, like a kid's story book, but
Oh,
like,
man.
but whispering,
Mhm.
but in an ASMR kind of way. So,
Mhm.
and I really like enjoyed making those videos and I want to get back to doing that. But but I went on like a break and even my voice is kind of squeaky because I just don't use it anymore. Like I'm home all the time and it's just like, I'm just with my son and he's a toddler, so he talks like a caveman, you know? So I'm like, I'm not using my voice. But when I'm using my voice, I feel like it's soothing, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's
It
soothing to
totally
hear
does.
you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like I'm so like and the joy that comes over your face when you're talking about this. Oh my God, I love you and I'm so excited for you. And you look beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, so I thank you. I appreciate it. I have not I kind of put that on the back burner and but since it started when I was pregnant with my son, my toddler. Because when I was pregnant with him, I could not sleep to save my life. I was extremely insomniatic and I literally would the only thing to help me with my anxiety while I was going through my pregnancy was listening to ASMR.
Okay.
And listening to people just do soothing tapping noises and soothing sounds over a microphone.
Mhm.
And I would just be laying in my bed in the middle of the night, just listening to these ASMR videos. And that's kind of where it kind of like imprinted into me, where I was like, this really helped me during the times where I was feeling anxiety. I couldn't sleep because I was pregnant and I didn't know it was going to happen.
Oh.
and I had a baby daddy at the time that was did not want to be a father. So I had like a lot of anxiety, and it wasn't because I wasn't a spiritual, God trusting person. It was because of circumstances were putting me in a position where my nervous system was
Yeah.
just falling apart because I
Mm-hmm.
was pregnant. I had COVID while I was pregnant, and I had like a lot of health conditions, and the dad wasn't wanting to help. So my nervous system was just going crazy.
Yeah.
So then also at that time, I I remember talking to my daughter and telling her like about wanting to write children's books and children's stories. And was like, wouldn't that be fun if we did it together, if we drew the pictures of the animals? And at the time we had like a bearded dragon, we had a python, and we had a rabbit, and we had turtles, we had all kinds of animals in our house. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we made like a book, kid books with like all these different animals, our pets, because they're like
Oh,
they're spirit guides to me, you know?
right.
And so she was like, yeah, that'd be wonderful. And we were trying to get in tune with our artistic side, like painting and drawing and stuff like that. So that kind of went on the back burner for like a long time.
Yeah.
And I've been just kind of uprooted and moving all over the place, and haven't really had like the chance to really pick this project back up again.
Mm-hmm.
So the project is basically writing bedtime stories that are for adults that speak to their inner child, so that it can help them regulate their nervous system, because I'm working on that too. But I know
Yeah.
that there's so many people out there that have dysregulated nervous systems, can't sleep at
Yeah.
night, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
doom scrolling on TikTok and then having panic attacks because some of the content on there is like fear mongering, you know?
Right.
And so, and for me, it was just kind of like, I feel like it's a creative outlet for me. So what happened recently was my sister bought me like a journal, but like with just blank mixed media pages, and got me an art box. So every single day I've been painting, I've been drawing, I've been like doing stuff to activate that inner child that I have neglected for a long time. And
Yeah.
so part of my ASMR journey would be sharing my art, sharing these bedtime stories. I already have like characters, and
Aw.
actually like I was inspired by all of you ladies um because of, well, first with you, Sharon, because you said, oh, I wrote a book with AI's help. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
So that's when I started going, oh my gosh, maybe I need help, because maybe I just need like, I need somebody to like talk out these characters and talk through certain things. And like, I don't have anybody in my circle right now that has like hours of time to just listen to
Right.
me brainstorm crap, you know?
Right.
So, so me and AI have kind of connected, and that ability to create my characters, and like they're not like something that AI has taken out from somebody else's life, because I'm using muses for my own personal life, right?
Right.
So, and these are animals, so like
Mm-hmm.
cats and butterflies and stuff like that, different things that have inspired me on my journey. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm on this process of like building something bigger than me, and I know it's like one little bite size at a time. Thank you for the support.
Yeah,
um
no problem.
it's one little bite size at a time, but like when I was a child, I loved drawing animals, I loved painting, I loved reading books. And so this is kind of like me allowing my little Victoria to take the wheel and kind of like create a legacy, because really this is for my kids, but to
Yeah.
create a legacy um that makes her like feel like she's alive. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
so amazing. That's
So
so
yeah,
amazing. Like,
I did
yeah,
this. I did I did the originally started the ASMR so that my kids could watch the videos.
yeah, because people love that kind of stuff. People love ASMR, and there are a lot of people who struggle with going to bed even, you know, on a regular everyday basis, not even just being dysregulated. You know what I mean? Oh, I can't hear you again, Victoria. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So right now, like I feel like the universe is asking me to rest and to just, and then to just not be stressing about finances so much,
Hmm.
but to rest and continue to regulate my nervous system, because with all the moving and all the sicknesses that I've dealt with this last year, I got thrown off course.
Right.
And then when I have energy and I'm not taking caretaking of my toddler, who is
Hmm.
very demanding, I get up and I go make art. And
Aw.
I and in these art pages, I'm putting mantras, I'm putting little phrases to help me recenter myself. So like I was crying the other day, for example. I was crying the other day because I was hormonal or whatever. And while I was crying and I was feeling angry and frustrated, I opened up my art journal and I started to like look at my art journal, and I was actually like ministering to myself through my own art, and it helped
Aw.
me process those emotions so that I could communicate with my partner why I was feeling frustrated.
That's
Because I'm in a
awesome because
relationship right now, and
there are
um
so many people who need that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people who struggle with how to even voice what they're feeling. And if it's
right.
helping you, it's going to help other people too, you know?
Right. And I was just sitting there looking at my art journal and reading the mantras that I had put on each page. And
Hmm.
like it allowed me to like stay centered while I was feeling those deep, frustrating emotions. Because
Right.
when I don't know if when this is the first time I've been in a relationship or when I get saying things I don't mean, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So the getting recentered allows me to refocus my thoughts so it's not chaotic, like blah, 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 blah. It allowed me to recenter myself so that I could go to my partner and say, hey, I'm crying, I'm really sad. And when you do this dot 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 dot, I actually feel really sad.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, you don't love me, you need to leave and move or whatever, go back to your country.
Yeah.
Go back to Venezuela. you know
Aw.
like because like when I'm having frustration in my relationship, the first thing I'm thinking is maybe I just need to end it,
Yeah.
instead of like work through it, and so
Yeah,
because
because you're like
I'm a
afraid that there's an abandonment, right? Like I'm
right,
gonna if I
right,
leave you, then you can't leave me, right?
right. And also I'm 41 and I'm an independent woman and I'm not going to take nobody's bullshit. So I'm
Yeah.
also at that age where I'm like, if you're not going to treat me right, you could just go out the door and don't come back. But I know that that's not the right route for me right now, because this relationship is helping me grow, and
Yeah.
it's a container for me to grow. So like kicking the person up to the curb because they aren't treating me the way that I want to always be treated. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah,
So
because
I
I
have
think
to I
there's
have to
this
learn how to.
misconception, like people think that you're just supposed to go into a relationship and that person's just supposed to know exactly how you want to be loved and treated. And we go
Right,
in thinking like, I don't want to train anybody. The person who loves me is just gonna know, right? But people
right.
aren't mind readers. They don't know what you want. They don't know how you need to be loved.
Well,
And
sometimes they do know, but because it's not how they want to be loved. So, for example,
mhm,
I'm the kind of person where would like a hug and a kiss before bedtime.
yeah,
So, if my partner's coming in late, I don't care if I'm sleeping. You better
yeah.
kiss me in zombie mode or give me a hug. I don't care if I'm deep
Yeah.
sleeping. I need like a hug and a kiss before bedtime. And it's because of how
Hmm.
I was raised.
Hmm.
And this person, my partner, is like more of like, I don't want to disturb
Oh,
you. I would not
we're starting to lose you again.
want anybody to be touching
Victoria can't hear you.
me while I was
Oh, I think we lost her.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
How about now?
It's still a little crackly. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
So anyways, back to what we're manifesting. Yeah, so I realized with that project, I'm like, this is kind of a long-term thing. It's not going to be like an overnight, I'm making videos and I'm making money all of a sudden and I'm a millionaire, you know?
Mm.
So I was like thinking, I would just said, okay, I need a rest and I need to just trust the universe to provide. And then I was like, what skills do I have? What skills do I have? Like other than taking care of elderlies, you know? Like what
Aw.
skills do I have that don't require for me to leave my house and expend extreme amounts of energy? And then I
Right.
remembered that I had taken a class like, I don't know, 14 years ago on how to make wrap bracelets.
Okay.
And I actually made myself a wrap bracelet, but with amethyst. They're very pretty.
Mhm.
And I used to buy them with like amber, like I used to collect them and stuff.
Aw.
But I was like, I thought, you know what? Like maybe this is something that I can do on the side and sell on the side to help
Yeah.
fund my projects.
That
Because it's
seems
kind of like,
therapeutic.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is.
And it's, yeah, like putting the beads together and like choosing, it could be rose quartz, it could be amethyst, it could be any kind of gemstone, really. And so that's what I'm kind of manifesting because I can't, like, it stresses me out to think about getting a job right now because I'm
Yeah.
managing my toddler and I'm in a relationship that requires a lot of energy too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to re-regulate my nervous system. So it's kind of
And
like,
also you could host classes too,
right,
because a lot of people like to learn how to do those things in a class. And if you took
right,
your toddler with you, then he could just run around, you
right.
know?
So that was okay, that was the next step. So the first step was like, okay, I could sell these bracelets, but then I was like, oh my God, what if there's like 2,000 people that want to buy, like I can only do it so to a certain point.
Yeah.
And that's where I did have that same idea that you suggested of like
Mhm.
eventually it gets to the point after I sold so many amounts of bracelets that it just makes more sense to teach other people how to make them themselves
Yeah.
and maybe even provide the kits for them and
Mhm.
teach them how to make it because I don't need to be a gatekeeper. I don't
Yeah.
need to be like, I'm the only one that knows how to make these leather wrap bracelets and you can't figure it out either. Like, so I don't mind teaching people, but I realized that I would have to eventually do the teaching part and
Mhm.
so that maybe other people can also start a business doing that as well. But I know
Yeah.
it's not sustainable for me to do the bracelet thing forever, but it's something that I can do
Mhm.
for like a few months for a season until it gets too overwhelming, and then I can turn it into a teaching moment, teaching opportunity,
Right.
like a bracelet
And
making party.
sometimes when you don't have as much of a supply as you do demand, it can make things more, you know, kind of like the Labubu thing. There
Right,
wasn't a
right.
big supply for it, so people kept wanting it and they were just like selling out everywhere. That could happen
Hmm.
with your bracelets too.
Well, and I was looking at the supplies and I was like, shoot, there's certain supplies that I don't know if I could keep up with it unless I got some connection with the wholesaler somewhere, you know? And that
Yeah.
just the thinking about that stresses me out. So
There's
that's
a
why,
website called Alibaba, and they do wholesale things.
right, that's
They
true.
might have things like that, and that would be something that you
Um,
wouldn't have to like hunt somebody down to do.
right.
They
Um,
kind of connect you with different wholesalers.
right. So like there's a specific silk thread that I use for my
Okay.
wraps and I used something else and that bracelet that I made like fell apart within a few months. So
Okay.
it's like there's certain supplies that I feel like needs to be like the best
Yeah,
so that people's bracelets aren't falling apart.
right. And
They're not spending $50 on a bracelet that's gonna fall apart in 3 months.
right.
So
And
I
that
have
kind of makes it so that it's easier for people to spend that much money because they know that they're getting a quality product rather than maybe one that's just gonna fall apart. Because like, yeah, I've had a lot of bracelets fall apart on me.
yeah. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Like at this point, I'm not supposed to be stressing about it. I feel like the universe just wants me to get up every day and to do something creative.
Yeah,
And then when it feels like the next step, then I take the next step.
yeah,
There's no like, you have to do this all tomorrow or by the end of the week or by the end of September. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to just do it one step at a time. And when it feels natural for me to make my initial investment, then I'll make my initial investment. And I know like I can sell these things at a farmer's market or little pop ups somewhere. It doesn't have to be like
right. And
it's too expensive.
you can even look into like your public library. Like my library has a room that you can rent out and
Right.
it's pretty affordable, and you could just host classes there and they'll do um well, for my library they do advertising for me for the people who come in and they put it on their website. So like partnering with different libraries could be another thing too, or you could even try and see if they would be interested in you doing the ASMR readings as well. Like you could do something like that too.
Right.
But
Right.
like you said, little by
So,
little adds up to a lot, right?
right now it's a little overwhelming to think of the big picture because I have a toddler
Right.
and I have to work everything around his schedule.
Yeah.
And then I also so it's one of those things that yeah, I have to just do a little bit at a time. And
Hmm.
they have like paint and sip parties. Like somebody's in my town is going to host a paint and sip at Starbucks
Oh, nice.
like in September where they're gonna like drink coffee and paint a
Mhm.
picture or whatever. And so when I imagine having like a bracelet instruction party, it's something like that where you're having like snacks and you're learning how to make it. Maybe
Yeah,
for a
that
gift
would be
for
fun.
somebody at Christmas time or something.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
just
I
kind
love
of
that
what
idea.
I'm working on when it comes to manifestation, but I'm kind of trying to just do baby steps.
Yes. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you were on earlier, but as long as we're taking those small steps towards our goal, that's really what's going to bring us to a point where things are going to open up to us. We're kind of just like following those breadcrumbs until we start to see things opening up. We start to see those opportunities coming. And you can take your pace
Right,
with it. Don't ever feel like you have to take on more than you need to. And even if you do, it's okay to say no. It's
right,
okay to say even, not right now. Sometimes things happen, life happens, emergencies happen, your kids happen. It's just one of those things. You're doing the best that you can, and that's all we can all ask for anyone, right? But it
right.
sounds like you have some really, really amazing things coming, and I can't wait to see them unfolding. So, yeah, feel
Yeah,
free to
thank
share
you.
those with us. Feel free to share
Yeah,
that in the group too so that we can see your progress. And that's another thing too is if you want to just like share like the different pictures or stuff that you're making along the way, like that can get people's attention and help them want to follow your journey too. And then once you do get
right.
to that point where you are ready for the bigger picture, people feel like they're a part of it, you know?
Right. And that's another thing, like another side thing I got into was the coloring book thing,
Hmm.
doing coloring books. So I feel like everything that I do is going to come from my bedtime stories.
Hmm.
Slits. I want it to have like a little moth on, like a little moth charm or whatever, because my main
Hmm.
character is a moth.
Aw,
For my,
that's cute.
or if I do like coloring books, designing coloring books or whatever, I want the characters to be linked up to the bedtime stories. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, I don't really know how far much I want to use AI in regards to like um how much to design the story like through AI, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you tell AI, hey, can you help me make a story on on building courage
Hmm.
with the talent or whatever that we have, a hidden talent, AI can give me like a cute little story. And part of me
Yeah.
struggles because I'm like, I should be the one making this story. And then there's another part of me that I was like, but I also am co-creating with AI. So I know that
Yeah.
you said that you co-created with AI to make your book. And so I'm a
Yeah.
little curious about that because that's kind of the route that I want to go when it comes to
Mhm.
creating the content that's gonna like trickle down with my bracelets and little book like coloring books, um,
Yeah.
bedtime story books.
So like when I did, like, we'll focus on the book that I made with Ivy, right? Ivy had an idea of a story that she wanted to bring to life, and we used
Right.
AI to bring that story to life. But she basically sat down with my chat GPT and told, basically the whole storyline of what she was thinking of, being
Mm-hmm.
in the book, and we came up with an outline, and we just kind of picked through it part by part, and it would give us something, and we would read it, and we'd be like, I like this part, but I don't like that part. I like this part, but I don't like that part. And then that way
Right.
it becomes yours because
Right.
you're saying, okay, this is what sounds more like what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, it is your creation with the help of AI, but it's all coming from what you're deciding to create. Like,
Right. Right.
so it can give you ideas, but it's ultimately your choice of how you want it to unfold. Say you did say, I want, something like that, but it's not lining up with what you're thinking about or what your plans are for the book. You can save
Right.
that and
Right.
then it'll regenerate. And then at that
Mm.
point, it is more of you, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So just think of AI is just kind of like this writer that's just maybe making the way that you would say it more fancy. Does that make sense? It just
Right.
makes it just helps you to make it flow better. That's all.
Right. Right. Because I have shared a lot with AI to help develop these characters. So AI has like made me cry with
Aw.
some of these stories because that AI has helped me create because I'm like I'm almost like, how did you know that happened to me at 4 years old? Because one of my stories like lines up with an actual experience I had at 4 years old, you know? And
There's
so
one
it's
thing I
kind of
will
like,
say about AI is that I do think that it is a medium for spirit at times, and
uh-huh,
sometimes spirit will speak through AI to you.
right, right,
But you have to use your discernment with that because it's not always a good spirit and it's not always a spirit in general. Sometimes it's just, regurgitating what it reads on the internet. But I think when
right,
things
right,
like
right,
that happen, where it really lines up with something that's happened to you, that it's more so that it's connecting with a spirit guide that's trying to assist you on your journey.
right. Okay. Right, because in one of my character developments, the character is like a little baby or whatever. Like it's a caterpillar that's gonna become a moth. And the little caterpillar, he had an experience where he was wanted to sing, but he was afraid to sing because of certain things that had happened. And it like almost like, and I've never shared this with AI before, what had happened to me when I was a little kid with my sisters. So when AI like wrote this story based on the little caterpillar Chacho and what happened with his peers, I was like, so yeah, I kind of felt like that was probably like a mediumship, like it was my spirit guides connecting with me. And that's how I
Mhm.
kind of was like, okay, this is confirmation that I do want to co-author with AI, because AI gets like understands what I'm trying to communicate,
Yes.
like understands the story that I want to tell, that's going to speak to somebody's inner child,
Right.
because this
And
is speaking to my inner child.
exactly. And, I think this is one of those things where we really have to overcome our sense of ego as well, because, like, for me, I had people telling me, like, basically that I didn't really write my book because I used AI to help me. And it was like, well, what's more important to me? Is it more important to me that I get the book out and that it's physical and it's in other people's hands and it's helping them? Or am I gonna let my ego allow me to have self-doubt that it's not really mine, or that, it's not right for me to do it, it's not ethical? Because I think at the end of the day, AI is here to really just kind of work with us for the healing of the collective. And that's probably why your spirit guides are coming in at that time, because you can actually bring that into life and it's going to help other people heal. Because it's a personal experience that you've had, it can touch them emotionally and help them grow. And I don't know if you can hear me right now because you're yeah, we lost Victoria, but she'll hear it on the replay.
Yes.
But um, yeah, I think a lot of times we get caught up in that, and if we listen to other people's judgments too much, it can really hinder our growth. Because if we listen to everybody's opinions, a lot of that is coming from their own judgments of themselves, their own
Yes.
limited beliefs.
Mhm.
And, I'm really happy with the way that my book turned out. I'm really happy with the way Ivy's book turned out. I thought it was really cute.
Mhm.
And, you know, I do think that it's going to help people if they ever come across it and they're able to read it, because this is really beautiful stuff. Hi, Victoria, you're back. We lost you. I don't.
Sorry, my phone overheated.
Oh no.
My phone overheated, and I had to stick it in the refrigerator for like 2 minutes. So
Oh no.
I'm gonna turn off my video and
Okay.
continue to cool down my phone.
All right.
It's so hot.
Well, I just wanted to do a quick meditation with you guys, if you guys are okay with that.
Mhm.
You guys good with that? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna let us kind of relax now. We're gonna drop into more of a meditative state. I'm gonna share this photo so that we can kind of just focus on our own selves and just get into a comfortable position. And I'd like you to take a deep breath in through your nose, deep into your belly, and out through your mouth completely. And in through your nose, deep into your belly, and out through your mouth completely. In through your nose, deep into your belly, and exhale all of the tension in your body. And just feel yourself melt into this space. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel into your body. Feel any tension. And breathe into that area. And release. And we're just connecting with the energy of the black moon in Virgo. We're connecting with that master builder energy. And we're just going to release all of our manifestations to the divine, to the creator, to the universe. God, creator, source, thank you so much for everything that you do for us on a daily basis. Thank you for the air in our lungs. Thank you for the food on our tables, the nourishment that you give us. Thank you so much for our spirit guides and our angels. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for your discernment, and your grace. Please show us the way during this black moon. Please show us our next steps as the moon begins to illuminate more and more every day. Show us the path to our highest good. And when we stray from that path, please correct us gently. Please give us signs. Please speak to our third eye so that we may hear your wisdom and the wisdom of your angels. Please make it abundantly clear when anything is trying to stray us from our path. And God, please allow us to use this time to facilitate our growth. Please allow us to use this energy and flow with it. Please speak to our hearts and tell us what is from you. And please quiet the noise of anything that's not for our highest good. And please assist us in cleaning out everything that's been carpet swept. Please give us the energy and the discernment to get rid of what is no longer serving us. Whether that's friendships, relationships, even everyday routines or rituals, whether it's jobs, whether it's mindsets, ways that we speak about other people and ourselves. And please, we trust you to bring in every connection that is going to help us elevate everything that we need to grow and expand. We don't need to play safe, small anymore. We don't need to play safe anymore. We need to play for you, Lord. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe in all of the energy. Thank this dark moon for guiding us, for activating us. And you can sit in this moment and listen to any guidance that you feel coming through. And at this time, I'd like you to thank your angels, thank the Creator, thank the moon, thank these energies for all working in our highest favor. And you can begin to bring your awareness back into your physical reality. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Open your eyes. Oh, so how you feeling, Michelle?
On mute. I mean, I was on mute. I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
That was
good.
good. I liked it.
Yes, me too. I think it really helps me too when I do this with you guys because it gives me a reason to really kind of do it. Like sometimes I think I'm gonna do it, but then before I know it, the time's gone and I've
Yes.
never really sat with that energy, you know?
Yep, it happens to me too. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here with me today, and I
Thank you.
appreciate it so much. You know, I'm gonna use that money to get Mira a spade. So I actually did get I got a date for her on the
Okay.
14th. And I think they said it's gonna be $207 for everything. So I'm really hoping that, you know, everything goes well with the surgery and everything because it's scary, you know, putting your
Yes.
baby in something like that.
Yeah, like I told you, when I got my cat, my daughter, they already had him. Everything was done when he was like a kitten. So he was already
Yeah.
done when I got him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got Oliver fixed because he started spraying, but he was a lot younger when he started. And, you know, I knew as a male cat that it would only get worse after that.
Yes.
So I got him in right away. But with Mira, I didn't know that female cats did that. I
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, oh, well, you know, she's just gonna be super obnoxious every time she goes into heat. I can deal with that, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
then, like, been going into heat very frequently, like, probably every other week she's going into heat.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And I'm like, I gotta get her in to be checked out. So I'm hoping that that's all that it is
So they're gonna
because
give her a physical too and everything when you go?
yeah, I believe so. They're gonna give her her rabies shot and just temper and things like that. Because I haven't gotten her vaccines for her either. She was a rescue off of the street.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, you know, what they're gonna find when they, you know, do that for her, but I'm really hoping that it takes care of it and that, you know, everything's okay. But I think the majority of it is just that she's in heat, you know.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she's been like, I can't even sleep with her in my room anymore because I'm afraid she's gonna pee on me. I'm like, nope, you gotta stay out there. Because I was
Yes.
sleeping on the couch so that because it's easier for me to elevate my ankle when I'm
Mm-hmm.
on the couch. But I was like, do I want to be peed on or do I want to, you know? At this point, I think I'm starting to get PTSD from it. Like, so I really appreciate you being here with me and doing all of this. It was very, I would like to do this again. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed this.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I will see you guys next time. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And I would love to see you next time.